What you been up to?
Oh, been a busy week actually. Been in Belfast actually, just doing a site visit for one of the manufacturing clients that we work with, which has been really interesting actually. So yeah, it's been a good week. We
Yeah.
also got a call back from a new potential that we were chasing 6 months ago, and they've come back to us. So
Brilliant.
that could be a big one next week. So good. It's been a good week.
Yeah, I love Belfast actually. I used to go there a lot, and then I didn't go there for like 10 years just because there was no business I was doing over there. And we went about 2 years ago, and I did a taxi tour of the wall, where you weave in and out and they tell you the
Mhm.
history. Oh, we got Debbie and Jeff back as well, and we got Godfrey and we got Scott, so it's all good. Yeah, no, I did a tour of it, and you realize it's still a kind of undercurrent there. Uh,
Mm.
and certainly I can't remember what they call them. And kind of it the guy, if the police do very little there,
Mm.
if you're being a pain to the neighborhood, you will still get kneecapped.
Mm. Yeah.
um and it kind of works because
Mm.
I wish they'd bring it in here somewhere. Anything more than shoplifting, your knees are going. It's like
Mm.
a bit heavy. You know me, I'm a bit bloody direct and blunt. But the problem is, they start with shoplifting, which isn't a victimless crime. A lot of my mates are retailers, and the average shoplifter now knows they can go in and steal up to 200 quid, and the police won't even attend. So they
Yeah.
just go in again and again and again and do it.
Mhm.
If the retailers try and get involved, they just threaten them and that. And people on 15 quid an hour, or the retailers that own it, they don't need that. But anyway, I got distracted. So you got some new clients and been over there.
We're working on it anyway. We're working on it. So no, it's a positive week. It's creating. It's just building on the foundation that we've got
Yeah.
for some big clients, and then but I also want to start looking at getting a a, a a a wider base of smaller clients.
Well,
Um,
well, I was speaking to some guys yesterday and earlier in the week, another guy, and we were talking about how much can be spent on lead gen or web SEO and all this stuff. And people have 500 quid here and 1,000 quid there and 2,000 quid there. It's all going out and it's bringing, if I can be blunt, fuck all return. And
mm,
yeah, the guy I was speaking to up in Scotland earlier in the week, he said, and I'll get the number slightly wrong, but it'll be there or thereabouts. Last month. I spent £967 on Google Ads, and I said, "Okay, how much return did you get?" He said, "Oh, 5,560." I said, "Is that good or bad?" He said, "Well, it's good, isn't it?" And I said, "Well, it is if you made money on the 5,560 of sales, but if you lost money, it isn't. So, what
mm,
did you make on that?" We said, "Well, it's 5,500." I said, "No, not what your fucking turnover was, what you actually made." And he says, "Well, I don't know." I said, "Well, let's work it out then. If how much of your month's turnover was that £5,500? I was about a third. Okay. How many jobs did that come from? It was 27. How much is your average cost per job in terms of you guys and everything else?" And so we broke it down, and essentially it was about a third of his turnover for the month. So we were able to say, so let's put a third of the labor, a third of the van cost, a third of your marketing cost, a third of his cost because he was off the tools. So if you're paying six grand a month to yourself, you've got to put 2 grand in, a third of everything. How much did you make? Anyway, we went through this simple process, and it turned out he made 1,100 quid on the £967. So, in effect, let's call it a grand. Put a grand into advertising, he got 2,100 out. So once you take the grand off, he made net profit, 1,100 quid. I said, great. Now what? Now we know what we're working with. Why the fuck wouldn't you put 10 grand into Google?
mm,
And then you'll get 12 grand pure profit. And so, I said, look, it's never going to be straight line like that. And I wouldn't expect or suggest that you put 10 grand in straight away. But this philosophy is what helped me over 2 years take Joe Valente and Trade Mastermind from 100 grand a month to 1.4 million a month. And at the end of it, we were spending 80 to 100 grand a month on Facebook, Instagram advertising. But Every time we spent 100 grand, we made 400 grand.
Mm.
And so I said, well, so next month then, why don't we just spend 2 grand on Google, and maybe try a couple of hundred quid on LinkedIn and a couple of hundred quid on something else, YouTube, let's say. A lot of people are scared of advertising because they think, well, it don't make any difference. Well, it may not, but how do you know it doesn't?
Mm.
But those same people who are scared or don't want to spend money on ads, whether it's, I know Godfrey uses Checker Trade and so on, whether it's through those companies, but they 500 quid SEO every month, boom, boom, boom. 2 grand lead gen, boom, boom, boom. It's just fucking going out there. And we've got this overhead of a couple of grand a month that feels good because it looks pretty funnels and lovely website and all this lot, but it's not bringing in any money. The numbers never lie. If I'm putting £1 out, I want fucking £2 back. In real terms, I want £4 back because you got to get a good return on it. But at least even if you get £2 back, it's then a numbers game. I can scale and scale and scale. I can turn that tap on. I need another 4 mentees. Turn that tap on. I don't need any mentees. Turn that tap off. And so I can manage it absolutely. But I don't know what it is. Advertising scares people, but call
I
it.
think but Mike, I think it's about getting it right, isn't it? So I mean, and it's hitting that sweet spot of the advert actually bringing in the right number of leads. Because I mean, I work with like a front door company, and we did a run of Meta advertising last year where we were getting. I mean, our cost per lead was really low. I mean, we were hitting sort of £3 between £3 and £8, I think it was, depending. But leads were crap.
Yeah.
But also the other problem is that when you're working with the manufacturers, often what they're doing is they're creating these leads for their trade installers. So
Yeah.
these leads are being fed out to the installers, and you don't know what you're doing with it. They might just phone them and say, "Oh, it was a crap lead,"
Yeah.
rather than actually working and rinsing that lead properly. And it's a real problem. And the manufacturers with this week, they probably spend 2 or 3 grand a month, if not more, on
Yeah.
Meta ads.
I'm just going to make a note.
But they lose control of it,
I'm going
so
to
they
make a
don't know
note
what the
while you're
conversion
talking
is.
because I'll do a course this week on lead gen.
Yeah.
And the reason I say is I hear so often, oh, leads.io, their leads are shit. Checker Trade, their leads are shit. Oh, the fact is, and I'm going to be blunt here with most businesses, 9 times out of 10, it's the business that's shit, not the
Mm.
lead. I mean, the lead, like Checker Trade are doing some funny things at the minute. So, and Godfrey was talking about it the other day, where you used to get a bathroom lead, and let's say it's 30 quid, and you used to have, and you'd get it and you'd convert it. But now that you want a shower lead, a toilet lead, a fucking, so they're spreading it to get 30 quid for each subset, which is taking
Mm.
the piss. But mostly, and I've been doing this for years now on lead gen, from when I first mentored a guy called Alex at the Lead Engine like 8 years ago. Mostly, it's the businesses that are shit. Now, that's a bit unfair, Mike. If you do not answer a lead within 10 seconds, you're the fucking problem. 10 seconds, Mike. How can I do that? I might be in a meeting. How can I do that? I might have my head in a boiler. The reality is, if I'm typing away and I'm thinking, I need a new boiler, I want someone to help me run my PR, I want a new bathroom, whilst I'm typing it in, I'm in the mode of, I want a new boiler, I need PR, I want marketing, and I'm here, I'm engaged. Now, if suddenly the phone goes, I pick up, hello, hey, this is Godfrey from blah, 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 or this is Kate. Oh, bloody hell, I've only just pressed enter. Yeah, we don't mess around here. How can I help you? It's like, fucking hell, that's amazing. And it's come whilst I'm putting it in. Yeah. Even 10 minutes later, and you know how blunt I am, even 10 minutes later, I'm on the shitter. I don't want to talk to someone while I'm having a crap. And I'm being blunt, or I've just got in my car and I'm trying to navigate bloody traffic, or I've picked the kids up from school and they're in the back having a go. It's like, fuck, forget it. I don't want to answer. And people think, oh, it's only an hour, it's only 10 minutes. You just fucking burnt that lead that you spent good money for. 10 seconds. Oh, but Mike, I'm busy. I had a meeting. I did this. Get a VA to answer that call every time. Yeah, but if it's 11 o'clock at night, Mike, how can I do that? Follow the sun so that when the UK comes out of office hours, you flip to the fucking Philippines. And when they come out of hours, you flip to Canada. All these people and VAs are available, but you can have a 24-hour, what they call follow the sun answer. and you're paying a couple of quid a call. Now, in if that was a call in Philippines, it'd be like 50p a call. If it was in the UK, it might be 3 quid. If it was in Canada, it might be 2 quid. But every call is answered immediately. Every lead gets a, hey, this is Mike from the Growth Summit. How you doing? And they say, oh, I want to talk about mentoring. Yeah, Mike's tied up at the moment, but I know he's got a slot tomorrow at 10 o'clock. Would you like me to get him to give you a call? It's like, boom, straight in. And we all kind of get this. And when we're looking for someone, if I need a plumber, my boiler's gone, I'm going to try someone. Oh, and let's say I might try calling them. It doesn't answer. Do I leave a message? Do I fuck? 80% of people immediately will ring the next number. Do you know what I mean? And so leads, all lead gen companies, they're not going to sell it once. They sell it 6 to 10 times. The person who answers first gets it. Now, that's step one. Step two is booking the appointment. If they say, I tell you what, when would you like it? That's the best one. That's what Charlie Mullins does. When can we come and see you? Well, when are you available? No, well, anytime you want. When do you want it? And they think they're being funny. They say, well, right now. Okay, I can have someone there in an hour and a half. Or what if I said 10 o'clock tonight? We'll have someone there 10 o'clock tonight. And so he converts like almost one-on-one once he gets a phone call because he's available when they want him to be available. If I say, oh, well, how about next Wednesday at 4 o'clock? Oh, I don't know. I'll have to check my diary. I'm on the phone at the moment. I can't see my diary. So at every step of the way, we start from what is a lead. I mean, if it's someone who's expressed an interest, they were interested. And we burn it, we burn it, we burn it, we burn it. And then we go along and we don't ask for the order. So 90% of the time when leads are crap, I mean, someone doesn't fill out information if they got zero interest. And yet, less than 0.5% of leads, when they're called back, answer the phone. Why? Because they were interested 10 minutes ago, an hour ago, yesterday. Now, so that's the first problem. It is mostly the person who's bought the lead that fucks it up. Secondly, it's no good putting lead out if we're going, everybody's interested. Who wants to buy Red Bull? And the one of the companies I used to work with, everyone buys it. No, they fucking don't. It's either someone our age who's like feeling so knackered they need a boost, or on average, it's someone between 17 and 30. That's their core audience. So let's capture them. Let's be even more sharp. And this is what my research used to do. 80% of Red Bull is sold before 10 o'clock at night, 10 o'clock in the morning. Why? People wake up feeling shit, need to lift me up. So let's promote it in the morning. Let's wheel our aisle chiller out so that it's within the arc of ease. So we're putting it in place at the time that we know they buy to the target audience that we're going to buy. Most companies that are buying leads haven't done an ICP, ideal customer profile. So who the fuck are we targeting? Well, anyone, Mike. Oh, fuck this, anyone bollocks. That's meaning that I'm shouting out to a crowd who loves me, as opposed to finding the 10% that mine. So without an ICP, we are just like chucking it out there. And then when who is that ideal customer profile? Who are we targeting? Who's our 80% of the business? Target them. And then some work I did with Summerfield, Paul Mason, who was the ex-CEO of Asda. He said, for instance, Mike, we've decided based on your research, we're going to target what they called empty nesters, which is basically people over the age of 55 who are living at home, single or couple. Kids have flown the nest, as it were. That's why it's empty nesters. They got a bit of money. They're wealthier than most previous generations. I say, well, why would you do that, Paul? And he said, well, it's 22% of our customer base. It's our biggest group of customers. So we're going to target them. All our marketing for the next quarter is going to be on them. I said, yeah, the only problem with that is the next group, 19%, is young, free, and single. And if all your marketing is at these old empty nesters, it's going to, and you've got Mavis and Fred who are grey and look lovely, but they're old fucks like me. If that's who we're going to target, then the 22 and 23-year-old that live together, young couple, energized, haven't got much money, but spend every penny they got, are turned off. So we need parallel marketing campaigns that recognize the empty nesters and the young, free, and singles at the same time. So it's just different advertising weaving through. And that's about understanding your whole base, the time of day of week, or split of population that we target. And I have never worked, I do a lot on lead gen. I've never worked with a business on lead gen where the real problem hasn't come back to the lack of responsiveness, lack of focus, or lack of ability to close. Excuse me. So I always start with, okay, so what's a lead cost? £2. Okay, but it doesn't really. It does. But if I have to ring 10 to get one meeting, already that's £20. If in that meeting I only convert one in four, then each lead that leads to a sale is actually £80. If I only make £100 profit, that's not a good return. So I either need to, you can't get a much cheaper lead than £2, but if you can really grab that, be responsible, say, okay, we could be the ones fucking that up. I mean, you know what people are like these days. If they took the time to fill out an information sheet or to express an interest, then they're interested. Now, if you are, there are sometimes it's shit. Like some companies will sell old leads that are actually cold leads. That should never happen. Um, but in my experience, it's at least 50% the recipient of the lead that's fucking it up, and often more. And I'm not protecting lead gen companies. You know, Debbie and Jeff will know how much I slag them off. And my post yesterday was all about trying to find, or one of my posts on LinkedIn, if you have a look, I'm saying, is there any real lead gen out there? Because there's a lot of wankers that are techies that will promise it and they'll just take your money. But I will find, I'm determined to find some, and if necessary, I'll set up a lead gen company. But I know if I do that, there will be customers that will say your leads are shit, and I'll know it's their speed, focus, the person who answers the call, the time they book a meeting, or their conversion in the meeting that will fuck it up. And that whole lead gen is an area to focus on, but it starts with ICP. Who do we want? So um, yesterday I was having a conversation with somebody, and they said it was NW1. That's where, if it was London we were talking about, it wasn't Londoners, it was NW1. So fucking great. What I can do is I can go onto chat and I can say, give me a full demographic profile of NW1, and it'll tell me there's this much Afro Caribbean, this much white European, this much, and it'll be this age group, and it'll be an ABC1 income. I'll know that profile. If I know that's a perfect profile where we've got good business from before, I can then say, thanks, chat. Now tell me every borough of London that has a similar demographic profile. And actually, I could even say, in fact, tell me every postcode in the UK that has a similar demographic profile. Because if I know I have an ability, that there's a desire or interest in my product from that profile of housing or people, and I target areas, it's all about the kind of target. The biggest problem for most companies is they're putting an ad out there, hoping to God some fucker that might buy their product sees it. And it is like scattergunning. The old kids don't know what that means now, but the old trumpet style gun that shoots like 100 things, pellets, and it used to be used for duck shooting. You know, you go to a pond and you knew the minute the first shot came out, they're all going to fucking fly away. So you had to hit as many as you can, not to kill them, but to bring them down, and your dogs would go and get them. But that's an effective way to kind of touch, let's say, or even slow down 100 people, but it isn't going to kill anyone. Often in business, we need the rifle focus that, boom, I've landed that customer. Boom, I've landed that customer. It's about rifle focus, but it starts with, no, not everybody, not anybody. Who are the customers? I don't know, Mike. Well, how many customers you had in the past? Two. Okay, well, that's a small base, but let's start with it. If it's 2,000, I can say, I can profile all of them. Well, how'd you do that then, Mike? Well, how much do you think their income was? I don't know. Guess. Where the fuck did they live? How much would they need to earn to live there? So, okay, they were in this income group. All right. Okay. What's the average age of them? Well, I don't know, probably 50. Okay. We got an age now. Was it male? Was it female? And we can profile them and do exactly the reverse of what I said. That targeting, and it's what made me millions when I sold my business, is what I used to do for companies. Too many people think a good ad does it. Fucking waste of money. It needs to be a targeted ad. I often see ads and I think they're amazing. But the work I used to do with Coca-Cola, Unilever, Procter& and Gamble, Tesco, 130 of the world's largest companies used to buy our data. And it was because I could tell them that's your customer, target them, or these three customer groups have a higher propensity to buy your products. If we can connect with them, they'll buy your product. And you need to catch them on a Tuesday at this time of day. I mean, it was that targeted because we were tracking entry, exit, and till data and need state. So I knew what they needed. I mean, it's scary how much I could manipulate. And then I got into psychological marketing, into smell, sound, color. So, for instance, let's say petrol stations, a lot of women, this is generalizing, but they prefer the likes of BP, green and yellow. They won't even know it, it's subconscious. Green and yellow is better than Texaco, which was red and black, which is very male color. So, even at the color of your bloody fascia or your logo, we're going to attract different things. So, okay, that's a kind of start point. Okay, when they come in store, what sort of lighting are they likely to like? What sort of music are they likely to like? Go for it, putting bread smells out. We can make the gastric juices start flowing. If we do that, they feel hungry. They don't even know. They didn't feel hungry 5 minutes ago. Those smells, I can manipulate people. Citrus smells make people thirsty. So we'll pump citrus smells into the aircon in a bar. They'll drink more. McDonald's and the like, I can speed them up or slow them down. You might think this don't affect me. It absolutely does. Fast music, people eat quicker. Okay, talk quicker. I want them to stay longer and drink more. I slow the music down. So we used to do by time of day and day of week music. So it's like gentle classical in the morning because they're waking up. They don't want to come into fucking rock music. And then it might be mid pop during the day. And then evening, it might be rock. It's like people are out, they're having a good time. But need state, person, and how long I want them to stay can absolutely drive that. We are being manipulated all the time. Now, a lot of UK companies were uncomfortable with that. It felt Big Brother. But the ones that exploited it, fuck, we smashed it. And that is about our targeting much more than it is someone else. And sometimes you've got just shit companies out there that are doing the work for us, but I can change company and I find myself changing company all the time, or I can say, what can I do to make that better? And if I start with myself, okay, I'm going to get an ICP. Great, I know that. I'm going to filter out affordability within that. I'm going to filter out like type of business and so on. And I'm conscious I've talked a lot, but this area makes the world of difference. And we start, it might be £100 a lead, but we convert everyone. And because they're the perfect customer, they stay again and again and again and again, and we can leverage them to get more customers. But I'll stunned you all into silence or bored you shitless, one of the two.
Well,
Questions?
I think what you're saying is quite true. It's really, for me, it's really touched me because I'm thinking I've known you for almost a year now, and I think my business has to go further because I don't think I'm using you enough. I'm utilizing you enough because you've got so much knowledge in advertising and pinpointing your customers, and all my business has changed, but I'm only using Checker Trade. How about all these Facebook and all these other social media advertising that I'm not even touching? It's
Well,
an
and you'll find one will be better than the others, Godfrey. But the danger is, I haven't worked with customers who use all of them, is Facebook will suddenly change their algorithm. Or as you found out in the last couple of months,
Yeah.
Checker Trade will change their charging fee, which suddenly what used to cost you 30 quid is now costing you 130
Yeah.
quid. If we've got all our eggs in one basket, that's really fucking dangerous. So
100%.
if at the moment Checker Trade is working best, put 80% of your ad fee in there. But keep 20% testing some other stuff to see what works. And if Checker Trade start fucking about, put some money into the other stuff. And some of the companies I work with at the moment, Richard Waters, I'm thinking of, can't remember his company, which is he does basically white good repairs, but he'll do 1,000 a day, multi-million, spends tens of thousands every month with Google. Google started fucking around. So he didn't want to have to go somewhere else because it's much easier to have one partner. But he started doing Facebook and Instagram. And so Go Assist is the business. And he's got like 180 websites out there because, again, he's targeting. If I see Go Assist, oh, my washing machine's broken down, and people are more likely to have repairs now because it's more environmentally friendly. If they see a company called Go Assist, oh, but they're not local, they're national. And people do like local. So do you know what he did? This is a targeting again. We set up Go Assist Peterborough, Go Assist Birmingham, Go Assist Sheffield. It's all the same fucking company. It comes back to the same call. But if I'm in Peterborough and I see Go Assist Peterborough, I think, oh, it's a local company.
Yeah.
I mean, in reality, the repair guys were always local because he's got hundreds of them across the country. But whilst his business was this big national, oh, they're probably not local, or they probably won't come back if there's a problem. Suddenly, 180 websites, he can set up a website in 13 minutes now, or bloody masters of it, and for hardly any money. But suddenly it feels like that's a local business. I'd much rather support a local business, have a local engineer. They're going to be closer. They're going to get here quicker. And if there's a problem, they'll come back quicker. But all of that is marketing. It's not a reality. It is a reality. But whilst all of that existed when he was Go Assist UK, it didn't feel targeted or relevant and resonant to my needs. So to your point about working together, sure. But and I'd love to charge you more, Godfrey. But
to be fair, it's what it's such. It's like gold mine, isn't it? It's like such good information, and that's his business basically. I want to stay with
it is, but if you talk about that gold mine example, you've got to buy all the kit, so you've got to invest if you want the gold out of those hills.
Yeah, exactly.
Or you've got a better sieve what you've already got. So pretty much in different areas, everything I've talked about this morning, and let me just share the screen because I want to show you. Pretty much everything we've talked about is in these classrooms. I've got loads of different, as about 45 minutes each. A lot of it's covered in that classroom. If not, it'll be covered in these master classes with all of those people. So yeah, you got the podcast, but next to the podcast, you've got the principles. Next to the principles, you can rate yourself against those principles out of 5. Am I 1 out of 5, 5 out of 5? Which areas do I need to focus on? And you've got the roadmap of how to do it. And that's Oliver Woolley, the person who has helped get the funding for most businesses that I've ever met. One of the biggest fundraising platforms in the UK. I've done some. Jim McCarthy, Paperboy, through to 200 million, was the chairman of Poundland. David Hartigan, an ex-PwC guy who set up a global business with CBD drops. Alex is a lead guy. Rosie Jolly, amazing at pitching. And Rob Moore is progressive. And we go through. There's people like Dave Potts, shelf filler at Tesco's, through to about 100 million exit. Was paying paid 3 million quid a year by Morrison's as their CEO, and so on. So yeah, I could and would happily charge you more, and would love to work with you because I know I could smash your business. And let me just get back to where you guys are, and really fucking grow it. But there's also a shitload more in schools that could be and should be better exploited. It's about making the time, taking the time, locking in the time to get some value out of that.
Yeah. It's quite true actually what you're saying, because I tried to add my air conditioning sector onto Checkered Thread, and God, they've just become more and more and more expensive. So I've just sort of withdrawn now and waited. I'm just gonna try and start with free Facebook and Instagram.
I'd do some Facebook. I'd do some LinkedIn. I'd try some different things. LinkedIn is so easy now to boost. And let me just give you. Am I still sharing? Let me just give you. Let's have a look. If we look at LinkedIn as an example, let me keep some of this out. So let's have a look at a post. If I take this post I did this morning, all I need to do if I did want to boost it was press boost. It takes me through really fucking simple choices. What do I want? More video views or more impressions? It's a bit slow because of the Wi-Fi, but then I can create an audience. Now I've already got some pre-created audiences in there if I wanted to use them, but if not, I can create an audience. I can choose locations. It's automatically defaulted to the UK, but I want closer than that. I want Peterborough, let's say. and I can tick that. Okay, I can then say I also want Stamford, and I can tick that. So I can be really specific on location. I can say, oh, fucking hell, I don't want accountants, I want to do property, so I'm going to choose that one. Agriculture, I want that one. Yeah. So I can choose the thing is I can choose, I only want owners or directors. So I can choose the job function. So bum, bum, bum. And then I press create, and I've created a new audience in LinkedIn. And then all I can do is across the next 5 days, how much do I want to spend? Now, a £75 boost on one of my posts will add at least 10,000 more interactions. It's fucking amazing how much it does. But interactions isn't enough. I need to know is that leading to calls or people reaching out to me? Yeah. If it doesn't, I don't do it. But I don't need to commit to 3 months at 3 grand to find that out. It might be 60 quid, might be 80 quid. So I'm trying lots of different ways of doing it. I mean, what I do know after years of lead gen, for me, I can spend fortunes on lead gen. I go to one event and speak at it. I'll nearly always get a mentee out of it. If there's more than 50 people in an event, I'll get a mentee. So I used to charge 3 grand to speak at any event, unless it was a charity. But now, if they've got 50 people or more, I'll do it free because I'll get a £10,000 client out of it. So yeah, I'll give up a couple of hours. I'll get a £10,000 client. And that £10,000 client might then stay with me after that. So you've got to find which channel or platform or medium is the best for you to grow your business. But never put all your eggs in one basket. That's dangerous because the minute that basket dries up, your business dries up.
Yeah.
Now, luckily for you, you're booking out when now? May?
May.
So you've got this kind of safety net of 3 or 4 months out. But if you don't get some leads in now, that's going to come back from 4 months to 3 months, 2 months, and suddenly you haven't got any fucking business. So check a trade. I mean, because I know him and he's a mate, Kevin Byrne, who founded it and sold it to HomeServe, matey boy, what's his name? He's a fucking genius, by the way. He turned 50 grand into 4.1 billion. So you can't blame him. Anyway, he's all over LinkedIn and TikTok and that. But Kevin is suing him at the moment because of an agreement they had on the sale, which was not sorted. But also, are they getting more money? Fuck me, they're getting loads more. But they're hurting people along the way because many people like you who were willing to pay 30 quid for a lead haven't got any other choice but to now pay 100 quid for the same amount of sales. So they're rinsing you through. Over time, that will fuck it up. And it's the same with Pimlico, who bought off of Charlie. Over time, they're fucking it up, which is why he's stealing more and more of their customers, more and more of their employees. But short term, they hit the sales, they hit the profit. And it happens all the time, Mama, which is a porridge kind of thing, Innocent Drinks, all these were my clients, get bought by a big company, boost it from like 10 million to 100 million overnight, and then the brand fucking dies within 3 years. Or it's been growing at 200% a year and it starts growing at 3. These big super tanker companies never get the kind of growth that small companies get, but they spread it across more. So, and actually, if you're doing billions, 2% growth is still good. If you're doing 20 grand, you need 200% growth to make it worthwhile. But all those master classes with Charlie, with Alfie, with Neville, with Kevin, with Rosie Jolly, and so on, they're all there. And if you want to spend money with me, hell, I'll happily take it, and I take it seriously, and I'll make you a good return on that money. But if money is already tight, then exploit the fuck out of school first. So many people are using school for a daily post. It's nice. It gives you a bit of a lift. Using it for some of these calls. It's nice. We have a bit of interaction. But it's like having a supercar and going 20 miles an hour to the local village every day. You're only exploiting a tiny part of the benefit that's in there. That's why I say to people, fucking 70 quid a month, and you don't want to pay that. It's like, Jesus Christ. Because it's not worth 70 quid a month if you're just going to get a daily inspiration. You can get that off of fucking TikTok or Facebook. But it's not good value because they're not fully exploiting everything in there.
Mm.
And honestly, I reckon that any person, if they exploited what's in the school community that we got here, they could get to 7 figures. Any business could get to 7 figures if they fully exploited that. But I would say that.
Yeah, thank you.
There you go. That's our challenge, then, guys.
Oh yeah, definitely.
2026.
Yeah.
Come on, let's do it. Let's smash it.
My mentor used to say to me, Scott, and I'm talking about Stuart Lawson here because I've had several, but he was the main one, would say, Mike, you'll be a millionaire the day you decide to be. And I would get really cross. He probably said it 50 times. I say, fucking stop saying that, Stuart. I've decided to be. I want to be. He said, no, you don't understand. There's a decision and a whole body. Fuck it. I'm doing this. Nothing is stopping me. I'm going to do whatever it takes. That's a decision. And when you make that level of decision, your life changes that quickly. Honestly, I couldn't see it. I could see it, and it probably took me 10 years to make the decision. And it used to piss me off every time he said it because I didn't get it, and I didn't get it till I got it. But the day you make a decision to change your life, you'll change your life. And, you know, people I talk to a lot when I'm doing one-to-ones is stop doing the shit that is not serving you. Learn to say no at least 3 times to every time you say yes. Because often we know what we need to do. We're good at what we do. It's the shit around it, whether that's going to a cousin's wedding because you can't say no. You don't even fucking know them. You haven't seen them for 5 years, but you feel compelled to go because it's family. Well, your kids are more family. Your needs are more family. And when I started to say no, I still remember the day my sister, I can't believe you're not coming to my wedding. And I said, Debbie, you fucking had 4 already. I'll come to the next one. I'm in Australia. I'm building a business. But when she came out of prison and was homeless, who bought her a house? Who was the one who could actually look after her and give her some money every month to make it a little bit easier? So I will do today what others will not, so I can live tomorrow as others cannot. And that was a kind of mantra. I said, I'll do today. Did I feel bad about it? Of course I did. But I needed to be in Australia. I'd already committed to speak at an event at that time. And actually, she wasn't serious about her marriages then. It just fucking, she couldn't say no. That was part of the problem. And I love it a bit. But you've got to make those decisions. When you make the decision that I'm sick and tired of being sick and tired, and this fucking year, I'm going to make a difference. And to do that, I need to take myself away for a little bit so I can be there for everyone forever. That's making a decision.
Yeah.
Anyway, I'm talking too much today. I'm on a roll. It's because I've been out there bloody rowing, all of my energy going. But
well, that's been amazing, that like, yeah.
Certainly needed this.
Yeah. But and actually, it somehow ties in. I was thinking, what can I talk about on the post this morning? And I thought, it's just a Saturday. And I sometimes say, hey, chat, is it anyone famous's birthday today? And if I find out it was Steve Jobs, I can talk about him. And it was like, nah, there's nothing that's of significance today about the date. It's just a fucking Saturday. There's nothing special about it. And then I thought, well, actually, it's the not special days that we need to step up. It's the not special days that will really make the difference between the people who are winners and the people who are whiners. It's the Saturday when I could lay in and do fuck all, but I decide to get up early and go rowing and be on this call. And I got up and I thought, I haven't got time to have a shower. And I thought, fuck it, I'll come in this. This is real. This is raw. This is what makes the difference, kind of thing. So it's on those days that we change our world. And when we change our world, we change our family's world, our community's world, the whole world. And that's not evangelical. That's just like, that's where we are, guys. And so that post is what comes to me in the morning, as you know, but it's sort of relevant to where we are. We're talking about what's going to move the dial, what's going to make the difference. It's Saturday. You know, what we do in the next couple of hours, just ringing one person and saying, hey, this is Mike, how you doing? Listen, I haven't spoken to you for a couple of weeks. Why don't we hop on a call? That could change someone's life. But also it could make me a new customer. Okay. And even if it does, it makes me feel good because I sent them a nice voice message that told them I gave a shit. And it's different at 9 o'clock on a Saturday to what it is at 9 o'clock on a Tuesday because they'll know I'm in work mode. In fact, I ring them on a weekend or something, or 10 o'clock at night. Hey, just thinking about you. I just saw this on telly and it made me think da 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 da. That's the shit that makes the difference. So, in the same way that I put on this morning's post, what are you going to do today? And I'm not talking about working your balls off. What you might want to do is go for a walk in a country park to get your head clear, to decide what you're not going to do. What you might want to do is just spend some time with your partner because you haven't spent any time with them for the last fucking 2 weeks. And that's going to change your life. And you realize what you're doing it for. And that gives you a boost tomorrow or Monday.
Yeah.
Who's not asked a question? Who's got a question?
Mate, can I just add something? Because obviously me and Jess spent some time with yesterday. And when you're like 100 miles an hour in your business, thinking about your business all the time, I'm always busy, deals are coming in, this is happening, everything's happening. And we took time out to come and see mate yesterday. No, I went for a meal, on Friday night first.
Thursday night.
Friday night. Lovely meal, had a chat. And then you talk and you just get to thinking about things. You're out of I'm out of the property hub, I'm away from home, starting to think about things. And then we get up on the on the Friday morning before I went to see mate, everything changed. Like it was like, right, I know what I need to do this, I need to do this, I need to do this, which wasn't because I haven't filled my full plan in yet. Because I'm not certain, there's a lot of things happening, and just the decision making on that morning when I went to see mate, because I was going to do a plan, I was like, actually, the plan's changed, checked it over with Mike, and then even just sitting, chatting, and we've saved 7,200 on one decision this year, and saving that money, but not also that getting 3 days back in my business every month. So that was just off the cuff, not nothing to do with everything we're doing, but I was like, hang on a minute, yeah, that's right, because you feel like as you say, saying yes to these networking meetings as well. I love the London meeting, so we'll just do one every 2 months now instead of once a month. And that, that time I can spend on the business as well. And looking at the return that you get of everything that you do, and all the effort that you put in as well. And charge.
I mean, well done. And look, to me, you guys are the winners. You guys turn up regularly anyway. But, there's another, I don't know what it is, 30 people paying enough to be on this call every week if they want, or one of the calls every week, and they don't. And that's fine. That's fine. I'll take their money. I don't mean it like that. I wish they'd be on the call because I'd like to feel that I'm delivering value for money. But I am here delivering. You are here to ask the question. Sometimes you might not ask any question, and you might not even realize there's been something I've said that's created a neural connection.
Always.
If you like, that you haven't realized I have planted as a behavioral profiler. I've planted some neural connections in there. I've taken away what might be a default excuse. Next time you say that, it could be tonight, it could be Monday morning, you will hear me saying, and you'll think, oh, fuck, I'm making excuses again, kind of thing. But you turned up today. I turned up today. We're making the difference. You're making the difference to your business, your life. But so many more who I'll often say, they'll say, oh, Mike, can we have a coffee? Blah, blah, blah. Sometimes I'll do it just for a lot. I often say, I haven't got time for a fucking coffee. If I had time for a coffee, I'd have a coffee with my wife because I haven't had enough coffees with her. But give me an agenda as to why I might want to and what's in it for me. But sometimes for a laugh, what I'll say is, yeah, listen, that sounds amazing. How about 6 o'clock tomorrow morning? Oh, I can't do that. Okay, 10 o'clock on Wednesday evening. So they want a coffee. I could change their fucking life. I charge people £1,000 an hour, but they want even then to have a coffee with me when it's convenient to them. And yet, I remember, I had with Alan Layton once, who was he was the chairman of the post office, but at that time he was the chairman of ASDA. And I'd been trying for months to get some time with him. And I became almost mates with his PA because I'd fucking ring up so often. And I would say, I will meet him anywhere, anytime. I just love to get the benefit of some of his wisdom. And obviously a lot of my business was in grocery and food and drink at the time. And anyway, one day I get a call back and she say, Alan can meet with you. I said, oh, that's fantastic. When? And it was something like 11:19 next Wednesday. And I'm looking at the diary. I think, oh, fuck, I'm going to have to cancel something for that. And then I think, it's Alan Leighton. And he had 35 board roles in addition to being chair of ASDA. He was the first person to use the word plural for non-execs. And it's like 11:19, that's very fucking specific. And she said something like, yeah, and he's available till 12:22. I think, fucking hell, that's very specific. What is that? She said, you need to meet him at Peterborough train station, and you can meet with him on his journey to York. It's like, oh, well, how do I get back? Mike, if you want to meet him, that's your problem. Okay, he's given up the slot, and he would do it. He'd say, you can jump in the car with him from the Peterborough store to the Northampton store, and he'd say things like that. I then realized, shit, this guy is a multi-millionaire, was trained by the Mars family, ran Mars for a while, ran ASDA, fucking genius. If I get a chance to have time with him, I'm going to be there. I'm going to cancel anything to be there. Because with someone who's been able to do that from his background, same with Charlie Mullins, Alfie Best, people like that, I'll fucking cancel anything to get time with those guys. Because 10 minutes with them could change the next 10 years of my life. One bit of wisdom could change my whole family's legacy.
Yeah.
And then people don't realize that. But equally, it can be reading a book. It can be watching them do something on YouTube. It can be studying their story, their principles. And that's what's in the blueprints of the super successful classroom. And there's loads on there.
Mike, I just want to add a couple of bits really that, through your help as well, but managed to get the socials up and running. So we've got the YouTube channel connected, we've got the Instagram done, the Facebook done and all that. And it's taken quite a while to finally get all that sorted, but we're now live. So I'm starting to do all the postings. But I had a really interesting lead because you remember when we spoke a couple of weeks ago about this ideal customer profile and redoing the profile of where your customers are. And I just got a lead in to go and have a chat with Kensington and Chelsea. We call them empty nesters, but it's the over 55 forum. Have a guess how many members on that forum, as an example.
It's the fastest, I know, because I used to help a guy at a business called Silver Fox, which was over 55. It's the fastest growing group in all the populations. People are having less kids, so there's less over 55s. We're fucking living forever, it seems, these days. They got the most money because the kids have left. They got more disposable money, and so on and so on. It's a massive group, massive opportunity.
7,000 members are active online on that forum every day. And they've got all these events from Tai Chi walking. So I've just offered to go and speak and do a historical theme about running your heritage. And oh, by the way, here's a box.
Yeah.
You want to buy your history.
Well, and it ties beautifully into when you fell off that building, no doubt you thought you were dead. Air ambulance and everything else. And you, I bet 1,000 times since then, have thought of what could have happened.
Get up every day, Mike.
If they hadn't got you to the hospital as quickly as they did, what would have happened?
It took them 9 minutes, mate, from the call. From the paramedics on site, it took them 9 minutes to get there. And they were operating on me, sedated me and operated on me. Saved my life, mate. Brilliant. Absolutely saved my life.
And another probably wouldn't have done it, would it? So you are perfectly placed to genuinely tell people what they should think about for a legacy. What to say, have you ever thought about the last messages you'd want to leave your kids? Or, one token that would encapsulate how you felt about them. And that's why your legacy box is, if you find your passion and purpose, you're unstoppable. And who would have wanted to wish that fall on you and everything else? But maybe that was your purpose and it's becoming your passion. And if you focus and don't get distracted into all sorts of non-related bollocks, it can be amazing.
Yeah, thanks for that. Really appreciate it. And also, there's things like funeral directors, care homes. There's loads of hospices. People I'm talking to now, it's just starting to really gain some traction. So we'll see what happens by next year. By next year, Rodney.
Thank you. But listen, interestingly, it sort of comes back to where we started, and I've got to thank Kate for talking about leads. It just sparked it off in me. But you're with some planned, mostly geography or circumstance, are starting to create your USP. So if this is my target audience, yeah, things happen to people who are 12 or 22 or 32, but mostly it's going to be in that target audience. Okay. And you're going to create something that gives them a box that is beautiful, that has all the key messages, the tokens, the things that they want to leave behind. Okay. And you're starting to think, okay, so I know my target audience now. The next thing is, where do they commune? What's the
Where they hang
community
out.
exists? So they're going to commune in Saga. So Saga have got millions of fucking members over 55. One advert in a Saga magazine might make a world of difference. Or actually, don't go for the advert first. See if they'll do an editorial on it, because it's interesting content for their target audience and so on. So, and oh yeah, they're in this group. And oh yeah, hospices. Sounds a bit sad. You're not going in there to exploit it. You're going in there to help them put together something that they probably haven't had the chance to think about, but would want.
I'm talking to Arthur Rank at the moment.
This hospice, yeah.
Yeah, and they're very, very interested in the whole project.
And all of this is about targeting to make you more likely to get your business moving, but it's also just finding the people who want what you've got to offer.
Yeah. I was thinking about, you cast a fish, that rod situation, and I was thinking about that while I was listening to everybody this morning. And the marketing side, you've got to get that net out there, haven't you? Quite wide, but really focused as well. So
you got to be in the right kind of water.
Mm-hmm.
You ain't going to get mackerel in a river. You're going to get it in the sea. You got to get the right kind of bait, and you got to get the time of day that you're most likely to catch them. And as you were talking fishing rod, I always try and think like bigger. I loved mackerel fishing on the Isle of Skye, because I don't know if you've ever done it. There's like fucking 12 hooks on those lines. They cast it out and pull it in. You got like 8 mackerel hanging off these hooks, kind of thing. So I don't want to go for one. I want to go for many, kind of thing. But
there's me with a rod and Mike's with a trawler. Guys,
well, I haven't quite gone there. I was thinking about mackerel is a line still. It's just lots of things. But, even then you can think religious. I'm not a particularly religious person, but maybe think of, Jesus was a fisher of men. And often that's why you see the little fish on the new age Christians, and that is because they're fishers of men. They're trying to cast that confidence, that belief, that connection out to a wider group. But not everyone will hook. That hook won't get everybody. Stop trying to hook everybody. Focus on being in the right place with the right bait at the right time to get what you need and to give them what they need.
Yeah, thank you for that.
Which sounds too obvious, but so many people, they cast the net so fucking wide that they haven't even got the strength to pull that net up because it's got so much crap in it that isn't what they want or need. Or their Facebook ads to 4 million people, but none of the ones that they need or want or could give a good business solution to, and so on. Listen, it's 9:30, but anyone got any questions? I don't mind a couple of minutes.
Could you repeat your mantra again? I will do
today what others will not, so I can live tomorrow as others cannot. And my girls say that now. And in fact, there were so many of my mantras that I'd go around the house saying, because I believe not just saying them in your head, saying them outwardly, because we see, hear, feel, touch. If you use all of your senses, you need to hear it as well as hear it. So I could walk into the kitchen, and my youngest is here at the minute, and say, I will do, and they know they could finish it today what others will not, so I can live tomorrow as others cannot. Or I'll say, they know I'm going to say I'm awesome. I'm awesome. And I think I've told some of you, I said it a few months back in the kitchen, and Amelia said, oh, you haven't said that for ages, Dad. And I said, well, why do you think I used to say it? Because this is when they were little. You say, because you're arrogant and think you're the best, kind of thing. And I say, no, if I was saying that, it was because I was feeling everything but awesome. And I needed to get my shit together. I needed to remind myself I'm awesome. I needed to tell myself I'm awesome. So I wasn't doing it because I thought I was awesome. I was doing it because I didn't feel awesome. And I needed to get my energy back and get my, if we are energy, frequency, water, mostly as a human being, I needed to get that back. And it was not just the saying of it, it was the resonance of it. So I would do this often as well, because what am I doing? I'm opening up my lungs, I'm lowering my diaphragm. In doing that, I'm getting the maximum oxygen into my body, which is giving me more clarity of thought and re-engaging all those neural pathways that make me make a better decision. So it's, hello, she need her music. Hang on a minute. Little one's got to go off to.
Guys, can you repeat that for me? I will do today what others will not. What was the last bit?
So
Do-
go on. Go on, Godfrey, you say it.
no. I'm just wanting to type it as well. I
will
will.
do today what others will not, so I can live.
I got so that I can
Can we say
provide.
it really slowly?
Yeah, please, Mike. Sorry.
I speak too quickly. I
I
will
got
do
half of
today.
it down, and then everybody started chatting again.
Well,
and I lost it.
I could send you guys the transcript of this, or if you guys are the important ones. So if you don't want it, I wouldn't do it. But I'd love to share this video because I think there's some really good content in there. So with your permissions, I'd share this as well.
Happily, yeah.
Oh,
So
yeah.
I will do today what others will not. What was the last part?
So I can live tomorrow
And live tomorrow.
as
Yeah.
others cannot. So it's basically about creating the life that is better than today, more than today, more fulfilling. Just it's like it's what I and that's back to that responsibility of it's about what I do. Stop, and I've said this a lot in the last few weeks at events. Stop waiting for the right government, the right interest rate, the right weather, the right team.
Yeah.
Make yourself right. Everything else becomes right.
Like, are you still, so that's like working on yourself every day, isn't it? Seeing those mantras and that. And do you still do that today? Have you done it for years? You always.
Yeah. So, I mean, we talked a little bit yesterday. The school group is more for me than it is for you guys. Sorry, but you know, selfish is a negative word, but is it? You know, if when you're on a plane, they say put your own mask on first and then you can help others. If you didn't look after yourself first, if your cup doesn't overflow first, how can you be your best for others? And as I said yesterday, if this never makes any money, everything that's in school is a legacy for me to hand to my kids. If I died tomorrow, there's over 200 daily inspiration, education, motivation comments. There's over 300 hours of masterclasses and podcasts and everything else. So this platform in one place is recorded all of my beliefs, philosophies, mentoring and everything else. So that's about part of that. In order to do the daily post, and I do that every morning. It's the first thing I do. I get a coffee, sit there and think about what do I want to share today? What do I want to talk about today? Because you can't, on LinkedIn, you can schedule posts any time ahead. But on school at the moment, you can only do it live. So it's the first thing I do. I get up and I think about that. In order to put something out that's helpful to others, I might think about 10 things. I might think about 50 things. But it means that first half an hour, 40 minutes, whatever it is of the day, is all about me getting my head in the right space, thinking about what's going to move the dial, what's going to pivot my behavior, my business, my results, and get my attitude in check. Because if I wake up knackered or feeling rough, I've still got to consider, you know, can I deal with that? I can't deal with that. So I just got to get on with it anyway. Can I make a difference? What can I do to make a difference? Mostly it's mindset anyway. So every day, that's how I think. Every day I think about what am I grateful for. You know, this morning I went for a little walk out on the way at the gym and I was looking and the sun was shining. It was coming through those trees at the back. It was stunning. I thought, we've got a red kite in the garden. It's killed most of our fucking squirrels, but there was a new squirrel back. And I was disproportionately excited to see a new squirrel in the tree, even though the little fucker eats all the bird food for the birds, kind of thing. But little things like that. So gratitude every day, every morning, every night. Those behaviors that I've been doing for 25 years are still there every day. And having to, in order to do that for you guys, I've got a commitment to you guys to put a post out every day. So therefore it means I have to do it. So sometimes you can create a system. Success is a system that forces you to do it, even if you don't want to do it. Because even if I don't want to do it, I'm thinking I've made a commitment to do it for those people. Sorry, Debbie, you're going to say something.
Because this is like, it's going to have to be part of my life every day now to get like the way you are, mate, just with like, you know, with what you do and you're getting up, you feel grateful because half the time I'll jump out of bed going, Jesus Christ, I've got to get this, I've got to go to that meeting, I've got to go to that properly. And it's like, we just need to calm down and make sure that we've got the right bits like that every single day, but how can we be disciplined and really keep that up? Because
well, and the more you do it, the more it becomes a habit. Some people
yeah,
say it takes 30 days to create a habit. I say if you do it for 90 days, which is why my most popular mentoring program, as you know, is the 90-day breakthrough, 13 weeks. If I do something for 90 days, I'm well past the formation of a habit position, if you like. So, and then it's focusing on doing that, committing to that. If the commitment to me doing the post every day, some mornings I have to leave at like 6 or 6:30 in the morning, it means I've got to get up earlier to do that shit. You know, so because I made a commitment to do it. Or like
yeah,
I remembered last week, I looked back at the video of it. It was like dark. You could hardly see me. I was in the car because I'd stopped in a lay-by on the A1 about 6 o'clock on my way down to B&S in London. Still do it. Still, if I'm committed, I'm committed.
mm,
And a lot of people say, yeah, I'm committed to this. And then the first day it's cold or I'm not feeling well today. Whatever it is, they're
yeah,
not fucking there.
no, we need to
Mm.
need to put those commitments and be. But
Yeah.
now I'm gonna have a look at that.
And realize that the biggest commitment is to yourself.
Yeah,
I mean, 90%, 99% of the people you know, if you really needed them tomorrow, would not be there.
no,
You know, I've got 6,000 friends on Facebook. Okay, put a post out today saying, look, guys, I'm really sorry, I'm desperate. Can you all lend me a fiver? Fuck me, they'll suddenly be on holiday. Or sorry, I missed your thing, Deb, didn't see it. You're lucky to get a handful. When Jules and I went bankrupt and homeless, I rang my best man, still my best mate, and this was like whatever it was, 34 years ago, and said, "Hey Ray, listen, this has happened." He said, "Listen, Mike, why didn't you and Jules come and stay with me and Nikki? I can give you a job. It'll only be in the pizza place, but you know, give you some money. You can live with us for a month. But after that, I love you, mate, but not that much. You'll have to rent your own bloody place. So use your first month's salary to get that." But he didn't give me a handout. He gave me a hand up. Okay. And he said, "But I also need to prepare you. Now the shit's hit the fan, you'll count your friends on one hand." He said, "Rats leave a sinking ship quicker than you can say boo to a goose." He said, "So you count your friends on one hand." He said, "But let me tell you, if you can find one great friend a decade, you are truly blessed." And I realized that we have lots of acquaintances, but most of us have only really got and only really need a handful of friends.
yeah,
Do you know what's really sad? Often they're the people we haven't spoken to for a week, a month, 3 months, because we can rely on them. They're always there. That might be the call that you make today that says, "Hey, listen, mate, I've fucking seen you for a while. Why don't we get a date in the diary next week? But even if we can't, I want you to know I love you. You're
yeah,
important to me."
yeah. That's amazing. Yeah, thank you.
And on that note, I love you all, but I'm going to go. Enjoy the rest of your weekend.
Thanks,
Take care,
mate.
Mike.
Take care.
Bye.
Bye, Cole.